everybody. Welcome to day three. I am so excited. Well, maybe we'll just leave that there. Does that look lame? We're going to talk about it anyways. Okay. Hello. I'm a little bit later than I normally am, but I'm still early. We're going to be jumping into energy today. And I decided to dress like a hippy dippy for it. So I'm pretty excited. I'm in full embodiment, if you will. Hello, everyone. Okay, if you can see me and if you can hear me, please tell me yes and yes. And we're going to wait a couple minutes until we get started, per usual. Dun, 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 dun. Happy Sunday, everyone. For those of you who are still in Sunday, some of you are in Monday already. That's spicy. Ginger is spicy. I'm gonna take my little tea bag out. Hi, everybody. Yes and yes. Good. You guys can see and hear me. Where are you guys tuning in from? Where are you in the world? Soon enough, we'll all know how to teleport, and then we can just all join. Are not flowers the stars of the earth? I was just talking about planting a bunch of wildflower seeds at the Heartland. That would be so fun. I'm going to do that. Germany, Indiana. The tea is like sticking to me. Ooh, Alaska, Florida, San Diego. I can never say San Diego. It's more fun Ron Burgundy style. North Carolina, UK, Canada. What if I tried to do all the accents? I would embarrass myself terribly. Just terribly. Okay. People are jumping on. Good day from Ohio. I think there's actually a news station called Good Day Ohio, and I was on it. And I know it was in Ohio. I think it's Good Day. It's not Good Morning. And I was just on it a couple weeks back. Dallas. I used to live in Dallas. Colorado. Hello. More Ohio, more Canada, Boulder, Massachusetts, Atlanta, Georgia, Nigeria, hello. Lots of Ohio, Rhode Island, afternoon from Georgia. Come on, do your Georgia accent. I'm gonna embarrass. Okay, let's see. Well, because there's slight nuances in the South, right? Like if you're from Louisiana versus Georgia and so forth, or the big differences, I guess, for those. Georgia. I'm from Georgia. Georgia, Mandy Morris from Georgia. All right. We're just going to do it from Georgia accent for the whole darn thing. We've got Slovenia, Finland, Massachusetts. Oh, Douglasville. All right, I'm done. I tried, everybody. Okay, cool. We're rocking and rolling soon. We still got maybe a minute. Then we'll jump in. Let me have one more sip of coffee. I opened the window. I'm acting like it's summer over here, but I feel like spring is very quickly coming, even though there's snow on the ground. And there's snow on the mountains, but it's beautiful. I want snow to be on the mountains year round. Okay. If I do that too much, it's going to be really loud for you guys. Oklahoma. Well done. That'll work. I tried. A for effort, right? Even different counties in Georgia. So maybe I hit one county. We'll see. British Columbia. Beautiful. Hello. You did pretty good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your encouragement. If I sucked, it's okay. You can tell me. One thing that's been really amazing about my journey over the past, decade. I used to be like, so self-judgmental, and it takes so much to offend me now. It's fantastic. The things, especially once you put yourself out on the internet, you're like, feed me to the wolves. So it's great. It's really built resilience and understanding of who I really am, and like that self-love is so strong. So it's hard to offend me, y'all, just so you know. Not that this would be the place where that would happen anyways, but hello from Oregon. I was just watching a video. I have no idea where it was in Oregon, but it was like this old video. Ouch, my hair stuck in my earring. And it was like a cabin or they called it a cottage somewhere, and it was in the fall. Oh my gosh! I sent it to Oliver. I was like, so I guess we're moving. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. Houston, Tennessee, Illinois, Peoria. There's also a place called Peoria in Arizona. And more Ohio. So much Ohio in the house. Okay, good to know. Arkansas. Fantastic. So everybody is all over the world. Are you guys ready to rock and roll today? Because we're going into energy. And I took a couple notes, some things that I want to go over with you all. But whenever we talk about energy, I tend to go off on a ton of tangents. And this is all about vibration. So right now, do it with me. If you don't have a practice yet, feel free to steal mine. But I'm going to get myself into state, energetic state. I haven't done so yet. A part of that is always my heart space, but also I want to pull some seriously divine knowledge for y'all so that most of what I say today is conscious channeling. As well, get yourselves into state with me if you're not already there, and if you already have your own practice, feel free to share it below, because then other people can also utilize it, because everyone's different, and sometimes we have to find our practice, or it changes, or we don't have to do so much. I remember when I used to do events, well, I still do events, but a long time ago when I had started doing events, and I love this about myself because I think that being able to serve people is such a huge honor, so I take it very, very seriously. And my ways of getting into state. Is this annoying? Can you guys hear my bracelets when I'm talking? Let me know and I'll take them off. But I remember when I would get into state, it would be like I would take the week prior and I wouldn't eat meat. I wouldn't drink any wine. I would make sure that I spent an hour in the sun before the event started. I would do all of my, I had this whole thing before an event. And now it's literally 3 deep breaths. So such a cool thing that what used to be this huge piece of me getting into my higher vibration, I was able to condense that to just a few seconds. And that's really what we've been talking about for the past few days, is that although it might take a little bit of time at first because you're moving and shifting and shaking so much in your mind, your emotions and heart, once you hit the energy, it can happen just like that. And that's where all of those miraculous manifestations seem to come through. It's not because, we got dropped a random thing on our head. It's that we've gotten into alignment. Our vibration is where it needs to be, so consistently through the dominant frequency effect, which I'll review with you guys today, that it just so happens that way. Bracelets are fine. Okay, cool. Love your shirt too. Thanks, guys. I honestly don't know if this is a bra or a shirt, but I feel like it's appropriate enough to be a shirt. So I'm wearing it as a shirt today. I have a jacket later because we have an event at the Heartland. My husband has a bunch of energy healers there. So I'm going to go do some attunements on them later today. But I'm like, I'll wear a jacket for that just in case, but make it work. Okay, so let me get myself into state. And if you guys haven't already done so while I was rattling off, let's do it together. All right. You guys get to listen to me suck up my boogers. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to be slightly succinct today, and I want to make sure that you guys stay to the end because I'm going to give you guys a guided meditation. And it's totally intuitive for those of you who do my meditations consistently. I know a lot of my masterminders and authentic lifers are in here. They're kind of different every time. I never know exactly where it's going to go. But I decided that this morning actually, but I decided that to finish everything at the very end with a beautiful meditation, couple minutes long, and then I'll literally just pop off so you guys can stay in that meditative state as long as you would like. But stay to the end for that. And also, I've got some really cool opportunities for those of you who have, and so many of you have, thank you so much, about purchasing the book. If you guys are investing in the book or you want to buy a couple for your friends, I'm going to give you guys a crap ton of bonuses. So I'll talk about that at the end. But let's jump into all of the magical content we're going to go over today. Cool? It's so funny because I was reading this stuff this morning and I was like, oh, I kind of already went over all of those things. And so I was like, okay, well, what does the group need to hear now? So we'll do a couple review pieces to make sure, boom, you guys really got it. And we're kind of putting it into this beautiful bubble of energy today. But we're going to do a couple different exercises and some neat little tidbits and tricks. First thing, huge piece of raising your vibration is knowing what your authentic vibration is, right? Your personal, like your home frequency, if you will. Penny Pierce calls it the home frequency. I like that. Like knowing your, I call it the authentic vibration, the highest form of us that we can access in each moment. So we're going to do an exercise on that. And I want you guys to get really familiar with what is you and what is not you. And when you realize something is not you, what you do about it. Cool? So let's jump right into a very basic exercise on how to feel your authentic vibration. And the reason I like this is a piece of the dominant frequency effect, is that the more that you experience an emotion, which is a vibration, right? So we're going to call it vibration today. The more that you experience a certain vibration, the more familiar you get with it. This is why people always talk about you're most like the 5 people that you spend all your time with, or I'm butchering it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That is neuroscientifically mirrored neurons in the way that I perceive it. So your brain is literally going to wire like the people around you, but also you're going to absorb their energy. Again, if our auric fields go, depending on all of us, maybe some of us are a couple feet out and most of us are maybe a foot and a half or so. We are mingling our energy with those in either physical or energetic connection to us, right? This is why it's great to take a break from everybody, because you'll see you've picked up a lot of energy that isn't yours. Hello, empaths, right? And you're like, why do I have so much anxiety? And then all of a sudden someone calls you and they're like, I'm freaking out. And you're like, I felt you before I even knew you were in my field, right? Or you just spent a lot of time with someone, and this happens all the time. I learned this actually at our events, where before, I'm actually really curious about this event because I had some really weird thoughts that were not mine this morning, and I'm like, I'm so excited to figure out who in the event, because I always, I'm attached to them once I'm going to serve them, and I'm like, I wonder who has this thought. So that's probably going to be my first thing, is who did this, or who, whatever, and we'll go from there. But anyway, your energy is attached to, all things. And that is not a bad thing. That's my rule. It's not a bad thing, and it's impossible to not be connected to all that is. We are one fractal of existence, but we are a part of a greater whole. And understanding we're a part of a greater whole feels amazing, actually. It doesn't feel so isolating, right? I felt so alone most of my life. So I do want connection, but I want healthy connection. And sometimes you might, hit a vibration where you're like, whoa, that's not something I want to feel, right? And so regardless of if you want to feel it or not, we can clear it, but we have to know what's ours and what's not ours. When we're supposed to do something about the vibration that we're experiencing or the vibration we're in, or when we just simply need to step over it. And I call that like learning the lesson the first time. Because sometimes people will be like, am I supposed to learn this thing in life? Am I supposed to have this person in my world? People ask me this all the time with the twin flame thing. Don't get me even started on twin flames. But with that energy, right, there's this connection. But if it's consistently dysfunctional, we need to do something about it, right? But what do we need to do, and how do we differentiate? So first things first, if you guys are in a quiet enough space, if you can close your eyes for a sec, if you want to keep them open, that's totally cool. I'm going to walk you through a really simple exercise. I want you guys to do this whenever you are unsure if you've energetically picked up something that may not be you. Now, again, this isn't so that we point fingers at someone else or we say it's not mine to deal with, whatever. Sometimes that might be the case. Let's just get curious right now. Let's not place any meaning on it. Deal? Okay, so close your eyes if that feels right. So take a couple deep breaths with me. And I want you guys to visualize almost like a golden ball sitting in your chest. And it's almost like it's literally made of gold. It's heavy, it's dense, not in a bad way, but it's just very solid. Now this is going to represent like your energetic reader, if you will. And right now it's completely inside of you. Now it's going to act as a filter, and we're going to start expanding this golden ball. So what we're going to do is allow for it to grow. And it's going to grow from our chest in all directions, expanding outwardly. But as it does that, it's also acting as a filter, and it's catching anything that is not authentically us. Now you may start seeing people, visions of people. You might feel certain emotions, different energies. No judgment, just be aware of it. See all of the stuff that's collecting and continue to expand that filter as it catches all that is not you, all that is not meant for you and the highest good of all, and let it continue to expand until it hits your auric field boundary. It's different for everybody, so take your time with it. Maybe sometimes it gets a little stuck because something really wants to stay. But once you've reached that place in your auric field, just sit and feel it for a moment. How do you feel when you feel a little bit clear? Now, the second piece, many of you know how to do this already, but in case you don't, I'll walk you through a few ways to do it. We're going to make sure there's no extra things lingering, and we're going to cut some energetic cords. My son likes to imagine a knife of light or a sword of pure platinum light. And he scans his whole body, top of his head, going all the way down. And you're just paying attention to any energetic cords that may be there. And whether it's a sword or some scissors, or for me, I'm like a vacuum plug. I love to just completely unplug it from me and then like cover up the plug, if you will, so it doesn't reattach so quickly. But feel free to do whatever feels right in removing any energetic cords that are not yours or do not need to stay attached in the highest good of all. And if you're totally lost on everything I'm saying right now, then just say, higher beings, higher self, whatever, do all this for me right now, whatever Mandy is saying, right? Okay, keep going through it, scanning. I feel like some of you are taking a little bit more time. That's perfect, beautiful. We're unplugging, we're cutting, whatever it is. Now, if it feels right, and of course I'm planting this in your head, so you're probably going to do it anyways, but if it feels right, feel free to follow that cord and just see what's on the other side. Who's there? What thoughts might be there? What's the belief? Some may not want to be cut. You might feel like you are abandoning someone. You might feel like, well, I don't know what thought would replace it. Just for a moment, let it go. Okay, now that we're kind of cleansed up, we're going to do one last piece before we start experiencing the most authentic version of us that we can access in this moment. So I want you to imagine the softest brush that you've ever felt. You don't even feel it. It's like clouds touching you. And this brush has the ability to go straight through your body, straight through all energy. And it's got lots of golden and platinum silver suds. It's soapy. And you're going to go ahead and just clean every part of you, all of your energy fields, your chakras, your body, your organs, whatever feels right to you. But you're going to go ahead and just scrub it on down with that beautiful golden, or it could be even a rainbow or platinum light, all of that energy. Go ahead and just scrub yourself down like you're taking an energetic shower. Beautiful. Some of you guys are releasing, you're crying. Amazing, amazing. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. So we're clearing. Not only are we realizing our authentic self, but right now we're clearing a lot of junk out. And now, this one I would like, if you feel good about it, prismatic, so rainbow colored rain, water coming over your head, washing all the suds and going down into a drain. Taking anything with it, transmuting it beautifully. It's not going anywhere to hurt anybody. Okay, now I want you guys to go to your heart space. Direct your consciousness to your heart. What does it feel like right now? Hopefully it feels good, right? Otherwise we got a little more cleaning to do. But just feel and get familiar with this vibration. Trust in this moment that it's high vibrational and it's your authentic self. This is the you, and even if you don't like what you feel in this moment, then it is presenting and showing you what is yours to process, what is your energy. But it's a heck of a lot easier to deal with what is truly ours first versus the bombardment of everyone else's things as well, and we can't differentiate. Okay, beautiful. It feels good. Good, good, good. Okay. Now that consciousness is in our heart right now. Now we're going to start expanding it outwardly. This is where, if you'd like, you're welcome to open your eyes or you can keep them shut. wherever you are right now. And this is going to sound silly, y'all, but I like to start small so it's not intimidating, so that you can really like just lean into this without any blocks. So I want you to imagine whatever's in front of you. Like for myself, okay, I've got a cup of tea. So the cup of tea is separate from me. But as I expand my consciousness outwardly, I'm going to stop every once in a while and be like, oh, I feel my book. Or maybe you feel now one of your pets. Or I'm stretching outwardly more, my energy is going outwards. Now I feel the cup. I feel the chair. I feel the couch. I feel the world. But I want you to stop every once in a while when you experience something new in your field and be like, oh, okay, it shifted a little. For some reason, my journal shifted my energy. Of course, there's a lot of energy in there, right? Or my pet shifted my energy. And it's not bad or good or whatever. I felt the presence of something additional in my space. Okay, you guys have felt a couple of things. Now bring it back. Now release that energy again. Bring it back into core, consciousness in our heart, just us again. Who are you? What do you believe? In this space, what do you believe? What's actually true? How much of what you've been living or what you have been thinking is not even yours? Beautiful. Okay, so now what we're going to do with this consciousness is just spread it outwardly into our aura. And we're just going to ask in the highest good of all that continue to act as a filter and allow for us to not bounce off of us per se, but for us to be aware when something that is not ours comes into our field. So we can be consciously aware of it, and then we can choose what we want to do with it. Cool. Okay, beautiful feedback. Just about everything in caps. Amazing. Okay. Go ahead and, open your eyes. We'll kind of keep moving forward. How do you guys feel? How did that feel? And it's okay if you're like, it felt like shit. That is totally okay. Any feedback is good feedback when we're not judging it, right? If we feel dense inside, then the only way to go is up. So that's kind of exciting, right? You're like, man, I've survived this long feeling like shit. Then I'm probably going to be pretty amazing if I keep leaning in and clearing, whether it's mine or someone else's. But we want to understand what we're working with so that we're just focusing on ourselves sometimes. Awesome. Okay. Now the next piece is, what if I do need to clear? Whether that's someone else or my own intrusive thoughts, right? Why do I fall asleep most of the time during meditation? Please ask. We'll do a Q&A at the end. Please ask that question again because it's a good one. So clearing. First of all, please post anything that you guys do right now to clear. I'm going to rattle off a whole bunch of ideas as well, and then give you one specific one that maybe most of you haven't heard. So clearing, the essence and the intention behind clearing is clearing whatever is not in the highest good. I like to say that because you might be like, I'm trying to clear, I'm trying to feel amazing, but I don't feel amazing. I'm like, well, then something's getting your attention. That's a good thing. Something is supposed to stick around because you need to learn. There's a lesson. There's something beautiful that needs to happen here. So no, it's not going to go away because we can't avoid ourselves. We can't avoid the beautiful things that are going to allow for us to get closer to our manifestations and help us raise our vibration, right? Like when people are like, I just want to avoid everything, that's not even possible. And as we've learned over the past 2 days, anything that we run from almost links a ball and chain and chases us forever. So it's not possible to run away. When I moved from Arizona to Florida, I ran away and it worked for about 45 days. But everything followed. Everything came still because I hadn't understood and leaned into the true lessons, which was becoming so strong and so capable that nothing could harm me. That I was, strong enough to do this, that I could lean into a higher power and, be more a part of that higher power instead of this like solitude, feeling disconnected from source, pain, right? But there were some pieces that I had to work through. Okay, so clearing, you guys are starting to post up all of yours. Some of the ones that I hear a lot of people do, some of them I do. I journal, salt bath, getting in water. Huge one, getting in nature. I'm going to go over that one a little bit more in essence. If you have done any of my husband's courses, or if you've ever done any energy healing work, then you probably do cord cutting, or you have different methods of clearing your chakras, clearing your energy centers. Sending love to others. Sometimes that's clearing. Everyone's wired a little bit differently. Tons of ways to clear. What if you're like, I don't know how to clear. I don't know what I would typically do or what would work for me. I always say, go back to what you used to do as a child. If you ran around barefoot outside as a child a lot, like you would just never put shoes on, that is a tip. That is a clue to what will help clear you. So you need to get outside and you need to go barefoot and run around. If you were always climbing trees, go put your back on a tree. Trees are incredibly grounding and clearing. And there's, total science behind being barefoot, grounding, earthing. Many of you have probably heard of it. It's incredible. A great way to clear. When there's snow outside, I do snow rolling. I still get outside in nature and I go not completely naked, but I'll wear like a swimsuit and then I will roll in the snow for as long as I can handle it, and it just completely resets everything physiologically. Great way to clear, right? What you're looking for is shifting your state. Cold showers, warm salt bath, like I said before. As a kid, I was always barefoot and I would always put my feet in a pool. I lived in Arizona, so I'd put my feet in a pool or a pond or, whatever I could get in. And then I would journal and I would look up at the sky and I would talk to what I called God. And I'd just like have a normal conversation. And it's actually really cute looking back. I'd be like, hey God, it's Mandy Morris. I live at 2363 East, blah, 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 blah. And because I don't know, maybe at the time I thought God was like a person. I was like, well, maybe there's a bunch of Mandy Morrises, so I better give him my address because God may not know. Obviously, I have a completely different understanding now. But it was cute as a kid. And so, those conversations, well, those are things I still do today to clear. I journal avidly and I do it proactively as well. So I don't just journal when I need to clear. I journal all the time so that even like if I maybe when you realize you need to clear, you're up here, right? Pressure cooker is going off. Well, I want to clear when I'm here. Oh, there's just a little bit, clear it. Then I'm back to, neutral. I'm back to good. I'm feeling great, right? So huge piece of your clearing is you need to be proactive about it. But I'll journal. And salt baths aren't a huge thing for me. They're really good for my husband, but I'm just not one to sit in a bath for very long. But I love doing it for like 5-10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I'm bored, I'm out. Or getting outside in nature, just sitting and let the sun hit my face. So clearing. I'm not thinking about sometimes or processing all that I'm feeling. I'm just letting energy clear me. I'm just letting natural things, the things that I did as a child, handle it for me until I get into, a clearer state. Really, in essence, clearing is acting as a pattern interrupt. A lot of people, exercise is hugely clearing for me. So I try to move my body every morning, at least, for the past while I've been really good about it. So physical movement, doing yoga, doing a meditation, whether it's guided or you just sit there and you meditate, blank slate. So all of these things, again, biggest piece that I want you to take away is one, find clearing methods that work. Just because someone says it doesn't mean it's for you, right? So make sure that your clearing methods work, that they get you back into that state of that consciousness in your heart, right? And then you can work from there and you can, sort things and go through all the mind pieces and the emotion pieces we've talked about. But first thing is understanding what is energetically our responsibility, right? And then the biggest piece I want you to take away is being proactive. You need to clear before you clear, okay? Remember that, right? It's just like exercise before you have a health problem, or, eat this thing or don't eat this thing before you cause inflammation, or have the conversation with your spouse before you get to divorce, right? Like, let's not wait. Let's change our ceiling in our basements energetically so that we don't wait and we, pop off, blow up, get frustrated, whatever it is. We need to change that conversation with ourselves, that energetic conversation. So clear even when you don't need to clear. And maybe you can call that self-care. Sometimes that's what I change it to, right? Technically, I'm clearing and I'm getting into a really high vibrational state. And the cool thing is when you're proactive about your energetic practices, your spiritual practices, your clearing methods, you're always here, which means that as you do more and more clearing or energetic self-care, you raise your vibration. That's the next place to go when there's nothing to clear, right? You're not getting back down into homeostasis. You're shooting up vibrationally because those are things that fill your cup up, right? Does this make sense? Cool. Okay, next piece. So I want to tell you guys a story about this. This is huge when you're playing with energy. And my husband and I always say, we don't play the human game. We play the energy game. When it comes to our reality, and I think that's why we've been, just growing so much and have so much abundance in our world so quickly. And people do scratch their heads saying, so how did you do this? Like, how did you do that so fast? That's not typical. This doesn't make any sense. It's because we don't play the human game. If someone told me, Mandy, you need to write a 5-year business plan and it needs to blah, 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 which I did all those things when I wasn't successful, when I didn't know what I was doing, when I didn't have the embodiment of a high vibration. And I'd sit there and be like, it's not for me. I can't do it. It was because I was looking in the wrong direction. I was playing the human game. And any time that I've tried to play the human game, it has never worked for me. It's so slow. I have to grind. I have to be inauthentic. I lose myself. I don't feel connected to God. I just don't like it. For me, I don't like it. So I would invite you guys, if this feels right, and say it right now in the comments. Sup, Kelly, to Katie. Sup, my masterminders. You guys are too funny. Dang it, I lost my train of thought because then I was thinking about Kelly and Katie. Story, thank you so much. So when I play that energy game, things happen drastically faster, and I don't feel disconnected to all that I am, to my home frequency, my authentic self. So I invite you guys to say this and post this in the comments right now. I'm going to play the energy game. I don't play the human game. And I would also invite you to, if this feels right, I used to write this on my mirror. I used to write lots of different things on my mirror. Whatever lesson I needed to learn, for some reason, it went on the mirror because I'd see it every morning. I'd see it a couple times a day. It was the best place to get my attention. It was my pattern interrupt, my little energetic check-in, because I didn't carry my phone around all the time. And so I would have that, and it would be human story versus soul story, or human story, or human game versus energy game. So feel free to write that down, and you would just remember that, like, okay, right now, am I in my human game? Am I playing the human game? No wonder it's painful. No wonder it sucks. Let me switch over to the energy game. Let me clear myself. Let me remember that time doesn't exist, that I have tons of rules to break, and each time I do those pieces, I energetically amp up. My vibration rises massively, and it can happen so instantaneously as we master these I call them gifts, but we master the ability to honor ourselves and to play that energy game. We were energy first. We were souls first, humans second. So I want to go to the root of what I am, the core essence. Yes, being human is wonderful, beautiful, and I've got to learn some things about being human. It's not like we completely negate it and then choose escapism and go into spirit. I've seen that, where people are like, I'm choosing spirituality all the time. And I'm like, no, you're actually escaping. There's a big difference. We've got to jump into, both pieces, the human and the soul pieces. But we've got to do that appropriately. And when we get lost in the human game, the human story, all the 3D stuff, we end up so miserable. And I personally don't believe that as humans, we're supposed to be miserable. I think we're supposed to be at peace, centered, remembering how to get there, right? Maybe that's the whole gamut. And so as we move into that space, we see that our human story serves its own little purpose, and that's where we work in the mind. But then the energetic pieces, our understanding of the energy game and our soul self, that's where all the answers happen. That's where we raise our vibration immediately. That's where manifestations occur in beautiful and abundant amounts. So I'd learned this lesson. I was in Dallas. This was years and years and years ago, like on the beginning of my journey. And I've told this story before, but it's a really good one. This is where I understood energy in such a beautiful way. And there was something that I was supposed to do, and everything wasn't really working for me. I wasn't choosing to do the thing. I was avoiding it. I needed to call a dear friend and tell her something really, really difficult. And I was avoiding it. I was like, I'll do it in a couple hours, or I'll do it tomorrow, or it's really going to hurt her, so I don't even want to tell her at all. Like, I was trying to play, all that stuff to convince me to not have to be real, be authentic, be vulnerable, and do what the universe was, shoving into my face, really. And as I continued to avoid the energetic feedback that I was getting that I needed to do this thing, my vibration started to dip. My vibration started to go lower. Now, mind you, you guys heard a little bit about my story on day one. Some of the people that I attracted years ago. All of a sudden, those people, I hadn't changed my phone number yet. I still had the old one, oddly enough, at this point. This was, again, about 7 years ago. And all of a sudden, all of those people just start texting me. Eerily so. People, I've learned better boundaries now, but I had people who had really taken advantage of me old friends that I really didn't want in my world. And all of a sudden they're just all texting like, hey, how are you? I haven't talked to you in a long time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, whoa, okay, thank goodness for the feedback in my face because I actually like that. You know, as long as no one's getting hurt, I had to change that rule too. But I had to ask for feedback in my face when I'm out of alignment. And I totally invite you guys to do that. Ask for feedback if you are out of alignment. As much as you feel okay with. For my husband and I, we said we want it in our face and we want it physical, like in the 3D show us. So we would have like a glass break, or, people would start messaging us, or money comes in or money doesn't come in, or, whatever it is. We're okay with that because we'll always take action on it. I had to change that. I'm going off on a little tangent here, story. I'll go back to that one in a second. But I had to change that one time when I had this lesson that I wasn't learning of I need to slow down. Slow down, Mandy, slow down. And I was in the gym and I did this weird thing with the Smith machine, and I ripped my fingernail, like the whole thing came off, and I had to get stitches in my nail bed and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, nothing physical though, in the sense of anyone ever getting hurt. So I had to kind of rewrite the rule a little bit, and then we were fine. But we always had things show up physically because that's what that's our feedback mechanism that we chose, and we pay attention to it. So, anyways, all of these people that I really, I just don't want in my world, we're just not a match. They all start showing up, and I'm like, oh shoot. And so I'm like, I have to do this. I'm still trying to avoid it. All of a sudden, my phone rings, and it is my friend. It is the one I'm supposed to talk to. And it was on, I think, WhatsApp or whatever. She was in another country, and it wasn't FaceTime, but whatever app it was, it was a video chat. And I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey, and I'm like, what's up? And she's like, I don't know, what's up? And we sat there awkwardly staring at each other, and I was like, what'd you call for? She goes, I didn't call you, you called me. I'm like, the universe seriously put us on a freaking video chat while I'm learning this lesson. Thank you again for the very obvious stuff. And I was like, okay, I got to talk to you. I said, call me when you're home in a space for this. We have to have a really, hard talk. And I did it. During that conversation, as I'm speaking my truth, and it was such a tough conversation, and I am just like, I'm doing exactly what I know I was supposed to do. My vibration is rising. And at the time, I had, how if you have a PayPal, it can like tell you if a sale comes in, and it can make a little noise. So I had that, and I think it was like a cha-ching or whatever. Y'all, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now I can't do it because it would constantly cha-ching. What a great thing, right? But I remember all of a sudden, just these random sales started coming in, and I'm like having to like brush the notifications away as I'm talking to her. I'm like, oh my gosh, talk about, again, a physical human 3D way of saying, Mandy, you're on the right track again. So if that feels right, ask for energetic feedback. And then remember, you can write your own energetic rules. Decide how you want to receive them. Do you want them like little whispers? But are you going to be able to hear them when they come? Do you want them to slap you upside the head? Because I always say, if you ask for signs, they will show up gently at first because they're out in the ethers, right? But as you don't listen or you avoid, they get closer and closer, and bop, they'll slap you across the face. So don't ask for signs unless you really want them and you're going to listen to them, and perk those ears up and be ready to hear them as soon as they come in. And that is a huge piece of playing the energy game. As soon, you don't have to have all the answers. You're not allowed to have all the answers in the energetic game, right? It's actually a lot more fun that way. But as soon as that ping comes in, you take as much massive guided action as you can. You ask your intuition, do I go left or do I go right? Which one feels light? We talked about that yesterday. Which one feels like it's coming from my heart? And as courageous and bravely as you possibly frickin' can, you step into it. You do it. And you learn along the way. You go heart open, mind open, energetic field open, ready to receive the higher vibration because you're playing the energy game. Cool? Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Do I want to talk about that? Okay, let's tie everything together. Then we're going to jump into, I'm trying to think. Maybe we'll talk, yeah, okay, this is what we'll do. Doesn't matter. You guys just keep flowing in the breeze with me, all right? I've got a plan up in this noggin of mine. Okay, so let's tie everything together. I want to explain in fullness every little piece that we've talked about and how it all goes kind of not chronologically, but how it all ties in together. It ties in together like this instead. Perhaps it's a circle. So, or it's the, not the Venn diagram, but the web diagram we had to do in school. I hated those things. Like, here's the middle piece, manifestation, raising your vibration, and here's this, and it kept, spawning off. Okay, so we are energetic beings. Yes. Let me know if you guys agree with that, or we can roll with that. Our physical bodies are biochemical and electrical in nature. The electricity and really the chemicals that we have are all related to the neuroscience in our brain, and our brain is tied to our mind. Those are two separate things, right? The mind has the thoughts, the brain is this big fatty muscle. And then we've got energy, which also then ties into these thought frequencies, the electricity that shoots through and produces a thought. Neurohormones in and of themselves have a vibration, right? And all of our thoughts playing into the psychology, all of our traumas from the past and the programming, blocking our heart. So we're in an energetic soup. We are also energetic beings. We are constantly reading bits of data. The brain processes, it depends on the person, but thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of bits of data. Like right now, I have so many things going on that I can't even see, or I couldn't even explain to you unless I directed my consciousness towards it. But you guys right now are also processing not just what I'm saying, you are processing things that have nothing to do with me. You might be processing the vibration of your child that's in the other room. You might be processing thoughts that are sitting in your subconscious that, again, have nothing to do with this. Just tons and tons, oodles and doodles of data and thoughts and things and so forth. And so I call it, we're in an energetic soup. We're all blended, mushing together, and we're constantly processing all of the energy that we feel, all of the frequencies that are coming in. And again, the frequencies could be the thoughts, the programming, the traumas, the subconscious reel that's playing, the stuff that's happening right now, all that jazz, someone else's vibration, blah, 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 right? And so let's say that a certain frequency in this soup hits you and you resonate with it, right? We talked about all of this. You resonate with that particular frequency. You're like, I smell it and I'm pulling it in. So because you resonate with it, it is showing up in some way, most likely to serve you, right? It's feedback. But because we don't, in our more, now we can't say that, right? But in our more unconscious moments, we would get super triggered as I burp. We would get super triggered by that frequency because we were in resonance with it, but it didn't feel good. Again, we're talking about the negative pieces of resonance. There's also obviously beautiful resonance, but we've got that negative resonance. Some type of a trigger occurs. Trigger happens. We tell ourselves something, and then we jump into a persona, right? My son's yelling for the dog. The window's open. And then we jump into a persona. We stop seeing all that. My husband's posting the book for you guys. We stop seeing that we are not looking through the proper lenses, through the higher vibrational lenses, through God's eyes, through love's eyes. Now that's not, again, toxic positivity. It's not, let me look through God's eyes and say that everything's fine. It is, let me shift my perspective. I choose to, take this experience like a sponge and just wring out all the lessons from it, because I'm one of the 1%. I choose to make things work for me. I choose that beauty, and I choose to embody my highest self, which has a completely different understanding of my life, of what happens to me, of my triggers, blah, 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 right? And so instead of jumping into that persona and not seeing things clearly, we go, what I was telling myself is not the only thing that I have to tell myself. And the longer we change what we tell ourselves, as long as we can agree with it, as long as we can just say, you know what, that's possible. Never saw it that way before. That makes sense to me, right? I remember I always used to do this with folks who'd be like, my mom doesn't love me. And I'd be like, it's possible, but let's talk about it. And most often, it wasn't that their mom didn't love them or their dad, whatever fill in the blank thing they were telling themselves. There was another perspective. And usually it was something like, my mom did the best she could, and this was how she was shown love, and no one taught her differently, so how could she have done differently? She wasn't as conscious as me, but she actually loved me so completely. Or this person's trauma, just took them over, and it wasn't about me. Wow, okay, well that changes the story, doesn't it? Again, that human story can change. And what we want is our human story to become so obsolete that the soul story is front and center all the time. That is high vibrational living. That is master manifesting right there. And so again, we take those triggers and over time we diffuse them with the pattern interrupts that we have. We choose to shift our energy instead of fall deeper into the roller coaster dive and drop down to our basement. Instead, we're like, I'm busting through this motherfucking ceiling. I'm going for it. Let's make this happen. This is my life. This is my vibration. I'm in charge. I'm not in control. I'm not micromanaging my life anymore, but I am in charge of my vibration. I'm in charge of my reality if I'm in charge of my vibration. So instead, we bust through that ceiling, which elevates our vibration, which puts us into higher states of manifestation abilities. Because as we vibrate in higher emotional states, as we vibrate in higher realities, things move faster. Matter moves faster. We can manipulate matter faster because we're not a lamp anymore. We are a laser. Our consciousness goes into one direction, creates matter, boom, and it freaking happens and it drops right on our plate. And sometimes we go, how in the hell did that happen? It's because our energy is so in unison. Our vibration is so high that it can simply be no other way. There is no other realities available in these high vibrations that tell us differently. And I love this analogy my husband always does. And I ask myself this, am I in the airplane or am I on the bike? If you're riding a bike and someone throws a rock at you, we'll call that the negative frequency that, tries to get you, right? You're going to feel it. That sucker's going to knock you out and you're probably going to be on the ground, right? You probably skin your knee or something or bonk your head even. But if you are in an airplane and someone tries to throw a rock at you, you're like, didn't even know what happened. Didn't even feel it. It cannot touch you. And that's what happens as you step into higher and higher vibrational fields and you have less triggers. Because think about it. What does a trigger do? It drops your vibration. Your energy changes in a way that you don't want. But if you have very few triggers, you have very few opportunities to get thrown off, right? Simple math. It's schematics, guys. It's very fancy rocket science. And so if you are consistently sitting in a higher vibration and you've diffused and you continue to diffuse the triggers that show up or the dips that happen and you shift your perspective and you tell yourself something different and it doesn't vibrationally dip you, the world is your oyster. Magical things happen because you're literally in a different reality. Okay. That's not it, but that's the whole piece of bringing it all together. How does that resonate? How does that feel? Good. Okay. We're going to go over Q&A in a hot second, but I'm going to go through what I was telling you guys about so I don't forget. I even have this piece of paper because there's a lot. This is a freaking lot here. We're going to go over an incredible opportunity for y'all and probably one of the least expensive ways ever to work with me. Work with my work, if you will, and be a part of an incredible ripple effect of continuing this vibration outwardly. And I think this is my personal thought. Tell me if you guys resonate with this. I feel like I've mastered manifesting. I could go off and I could do something that had nothing to do with helping the world. I could go off into real estate and I could use my manifesting. I could go off and I don't know, I could do a lot of different things, right? I can take this in any area. But because I choose to share it, I feel like it 10x's the abundance as well. The magical, and abundance to me doesn't mean money, although it's like a piece of the pie. It's like abundance is my relationships, my fulfillment, my joy, my happiness, the happiness of those around me. All of that comes into abundance. It's like the true, and this is why I think so many like CEOs and Olympians and celebrities, all these people here, like they have it all. Some of them don't. That's why they come to me or my husband, because they're like, I've got the money, or I've got the this, or I've got the what, but I'm missing. It's not. How do you have it all? Manifestation, high vibration, right? It's that piece of abundance means something different, right? And I think, and tell me what you guys think. Like, what does abundance actually mean to you? When you think about the feeling, the emotion, the vibration of abundance, I think like people tie it to money. I think that's such like an outdated thing. Yes, sure, it comes with it. Or whatever amount of money is for your authentic self. It may not be a lot, right? Humans think it must be a lot for me to be stable and happy and secure. Like, I don't believe that anymore. I don't think so, right? That's just unfortunately a societal programming. But our authentic self, because it's an emotional state of abundance, and that's what checks all the marks anyways, it looks so different and it's so beautiful and it's truly fulfilling instead of surface level. Okay, anyways, I went off on a tangent. So what we'll do is I want to go through this piece. I want you guys to be a part of the ripple effect. I'm shamelessly going to ask you guys to be a part of it. And then we're going to go into the Q&A. So save your questions just a hot second more. These are pinching my arm hairs really hard. I was like a werewolf when I was a teenager. I wanted to shave my arms so bad. Anyways, off track a little bit. And so we're going to do that. We'll do the Q&A after that. And then I'm going to leave you guys with a meditation. And again, that meditation, after it's done, I want to, keep you guys in that state. So if you want to go, sleep, fall into it, absolutely beautiful time to manifest, is right when you wake up from a nap. That I'm going to dispronounce it. I'm going to mispronounce it. I'll wait on that. If you guys read the book, then you'll read 2 ways to manifest before and after sleep. It's amazing, but it's a little bit sciencey right now. So the book explains it better. Anyway, some of you, quite a few of you actually, have already purchased my book, The 8 Secrets to Powerful Manifesting. You guys are going to be so sick of me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff on launch week. This book is not available technically yet until the 22nd. I have sent this to some of my incredible friends. Some of them are in the manifesting world. Some of them are in different worlds. And the feedback has been, it's just cool. It's freaking cool, man. It's really cool when you take everything that you've learned in life, all of those hard moments or the confusing ones where you're like, why do I know this? This doesn't help me or apply. And then all of a sudden you see all of it come together. It completely radically changes your life. We have over 800,000 students in the world, 60 plus countries. It's changed all of their lives. And now we're going to change even more lives. Oh, I'm so excited through the ripple effect. The world's going to be a beautiful place. In my, I'll do my little piece or my big piece, whatever it is. It's okay. I'm like, maybe my purpose work is done. Maybe it's just fun from here on out. I don't know. But this feels like a huge piece of my purpose work. So the things that it has in it, well, no, I won't say that yet. I'll say that in a little bit. But the information that it has in it is like, it's just amazing. It's just about everything that you could need to become a powerful manifester. And in the folks who have read it, they're like, this sucker is my Bible, man. Like this is, I'm going back to this. This is incredible. The world needs it. So many light workers that have read it, they're like, we need to get this in the hands of so many. And if you guys see, when you guys read the book, first of all, see this? So at the Heartland, everybody gets to we get these little wooden plaques, and then they get to write to a previous version of them and say, what would that version of you need to hear now, like where you're at today? And it's so amazing. I'm going to read a couple of them just as I go off on my tangent. Remember, you are enough and always have been. Some of you guys are probably going to hear me read yours because I know I've got some authentic lifers in here. Live in the moment. What you speak, you create. Set an intention. Get ready to soar. I am enough to succeed beyond my expectations. With love and pure intention, you can do anything. No doubt, no fear. Live in your heart space always. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Love. It's safe to be you. Let no one extinguish your light. Let it burn forever with love for yourself. Leave a little sparkle. Note to self, healing is not an overnight. You are, and then it's like a heart with infinity. You are not broken. Okay, there's so many. Anyways, it's just so cool. But if you guys, when you get the book and you read some of the folks who have given praise to the 8 secrets, you're going to, you're going to see some light workers in there. Okay, anyways, so if you have already bought one book or you're going to, here are all the things you're going to get. You're going to get the book. So you'll obviously get the book. I have to read this because there's so much stuff that you guys get. So I have to bear with me for a second here, and then we'll jump into the Q&A, I swear. You'll also get, this is a VIP virtual event I'm going to do. Normally I'd charge around like $200 for it, but we're going to do it on April 9th. And it's totally free. So my biggest thing is after these challenges, people are always like, okay, it's like when you go to an event, you're like riding high, and then what do I do next? I always want to make sure that if you're like, this challenge was enough for me, I don't need anything else, which I would be surprised because I'm always growing. I'm always wanting to know more. I want to expand like the universe. But if that's the case and you've gotten what you need, amazing, beautiful. Just stick on for the meditation. No harm, no foul. I am here to serve. That's why I made this whole 3 days free. But a lot of folks are like, you know what? I am ready to invest in myself. Or I'm ready for the next step, whatever that may be. And that may mean that you go off and you do something else, or you stick with me and you run with my authentic lifers, and life gets freaking amazing. But whatever it may be, in the highest good of all, 222. Fantastic. Thanks, Helaby. So regardless of, I'm totally cool with it. But if you feel like you are in resonance with me, then you should learn from someone that you are in resonance with, right? So any hoodle doodle. So you'll have that. Private Facebook group as well. That's with our soul family. Tons of folks who buy the book don't go into the groups. You know, they're like, I just want the book. That's cool too. At any point that you want to go in, you certainly can if you've got a copy of the book. And we do a ton of bonuses in there. So there is, I don't even know how many lessons are in there now, at least 5 plus. And then we keep dropping more in. So there's like over $300 worth of bonuses as well. Again, this is just for buying the book. So we're at like 500, no, sorry. We're at about 700 because I can do math. Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of bonuses. Okay, so that is if you got one book. Let's say that you're like, I want to buy a couple for my girlfriends or have them ready for like birthday gifts, or my husband, or my brother would love this, whatever it is, right? A lot of people have bought them for their therapists, and then their therapists come and do my coaching program. It's really cool. My previous book, I mean. So I think this book will hold even more validity because it's much more science-based than my first book. So I'm excited for it to get further into the therapeutic world. But if you want to buy 5 bookaroonies, you get all the things that I just mentioned, obviously, plus a 2-day, I want to make sure I say this right, a 2-day quantum shift virtual experience. This was sold for $400 originally, but it's 2 days. You get my husband and I, so we dive deeper into energy, vibration work. He is known as the spiritual activator for just about every person in the world. But it's really, really cool event. I loved doing that event, and it was a lot of fun doing it with him too. So you'll not just get, my lessons and pieces, but you get to tap into his wealth of knowledge as well. If you want to buy 10 books, I'm just going to start rattling these 10 books. You get all the things I just mentioned. It keeps compiling, right? Everything, 2-day experience, all of the bonuses, the extra day live event, all that jazz. You will get, yeah, this one's good. So this is called Quantum Creation. This actually has not been available to most of the public as of yet. Just I think our masterminders, right? Our masterminders have it, and that's it right now. You will get that. Okay, let's see. It's 38 days. I didn't know it was 30. I thought it was gonna be 42, but 38 days of the most profound and advanced techniques, again, from me and the spiritual activator. And this is just like creating more depth to your manifestations. And, I think sometimes when someone's like, I know for myself, at least, there was times where people would tell me things in life and I'm like, it just went in one ear and out the other because I wasn't ready to receive it. And so that's one of the reasons I think too, like going back to materials, a lot of people will tell me in like some of our programs, they're like, every time I go back to it, I hear something new. And I'm like, because your vibration is changing. And sometimes we can't hear something in a certain vibration. So we need to hear it at a later time or in divine timing. It's not, the right energetic space as of yet. But as you grow and you come back to things or you re-experience things. So I'm all about like hit every tool possible in manifestation and listen to it 10 times if you have to until it becomes who you are. Okay. Next, I can hear the kids running around the land. It was like sleepover weekend at our house, so it's been crazy. Okay, so the next one, if you want to buy 20 books, 20. I don't know why I keep speaking Spanish a little bit. You will get what's called Mandy 365. I told you guys about that yesterday in our Q&A because a lot of you were asking what other programs we have. The Mandy 365 is a year-long program. Now, there's different, obviously, costs associated with all of these. I'll put the link. I think my husband, he pinned the comment. Yeah, it says it's from me, but it's really Oliver. But that'll show the link of everything I'm saying right now as well. And then the pricing, you're just buying the books, basically. We're all about the pay it forward. If you're like, I don't know, 20 people or plus, which we'll talk about in a second, we got you. We have a pay it forward program as well. There are tons of souls who want to get their hands on a book. And unfortunately, they just don't have the extra cash or they wouldn't spoil themselves like that. And so we want to make sure that we're reaching those individuals. We have a whole organization of battered women and men that I can't wait to get these books into the hands of as well. So trust me, there are places where it can go if you're like, I just don't know where to send them all, but I'd love to be a part of it. So anyways, the Mandy 365, that is a whole gamut of a year plus everything else. That's for 20 books. This is good stuff, y'all. And then the last, if you want to buy more than 20 books, we have folks, some are like, I want to buy 300 because I want to buy them for my whole corporation. Or this is such a good cause. I want it to go that way. Thank you, first of all. Thank you so much for believing in my work so much. And we can custom curate and make something for you that you would like. So you'll talk to probably one of our enrollment advisors if that's something that you would like. But again, click the link, and then there'll be a link to get some more personalized information in that regard. So thank you guys so much. Start posting up your questions. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. But again, please, please, please be a part of this ripple effect. I feel like this, if it's in the highest good of all, I know what I feel, but I've got to blanket it with the highest good of all. I feel like this is going to really, really, really change the world in some small or big way. And even if it just touches one soul, and thankfully it's already touched many that have been able to get the pre-order, I'm just so humbled and so honored that I get to be the vessel for this information, because it's some pretty good stuff here. Okay, let's. What? Oh, the website. Sorry. Yes. the8secrets.com/special. So I was telling you guys a couple days ago, if you went to the8secrets.com, that's the normal books, but I also wanted to create something special for our challenge. So you guys want to go to the 8, just the is it numerical, whatever. The THE 8 secrets, plural, secrets.com/special. SPECIAL. And we've pinned it to the top of the comments here. And then once we're done with this, I will also put it on the Hoodle Doodle, the top comment thing of this, the text. That's what I meant to say. And we'll also do an additional Q&A probably tomorrow or Tuesday, but I want to jump into one right now with y'all. So if you guys make sure you can open up another tab while I'm rattling off these questions, go ahead and get the book, get multiples, whatever feels right in the highest good of all, please. Honor whatever is coming to you intuitively. And then let's jump into some of these questions. My book agent just texted me, happy Sunday. You guys definitely got some pre-ordering going on. Great work. Thanks. Okay. I'm in my emails. Why am I in my emails? Let me find myself, because I like to look at the questions from 390 comments, y'all. Okay, I'm going to start. Let me scroll backwards because I know you guys have been asking for a minute. Okay, this is the furthest it goes. Okay, this is amazing. Love that people help and pay it forward. This isn't a question, but I'll say it anyways. I can't wait to be at the energetic level to always pay it forward in different ways. Want to jump from low income to being financially free. Amen to that. And I will say, like, even when I was broke, no joke, I remember this actually. I learned this in high school. So I was very lost, very, very lost soul in high school, as you guys already know. But there was this woman. It was actually the guy that I was dating's mom. And bless his heart, but he was in and out of jail, you know, really struggling. He actually helps addicts now, but he had a long road. So, you know, for various reasons, our relationship ended. But my relationship with his mother is so strong still to this day. I call her Mamas. She's just such an amazing, amazing woman. And something that she told me that always stuck with me, and I twisted a little bit because I ended up, you know, going too far with it and getting taken advantage of. So I use my filter now of like, who am I supposed to truly help? But I remember she got me a cell phone so that when I was in unsafe situations, you know, I could call her because I didn't have one. And I just remember like my Christmases at her house were, you know, I was her daughter, you know, I was taken care of, and she was someone that even in my darkness, she kept me going, you know. And I equate a lot of the reason I got out of what everybody else, you know, at my age, or not my age, I hung out with people who are older than me, but in my group, in the people that I ran with, didn't get out of, and why I did, I think, was just these little moments of someone saying, Mandy, that's not normal for people to do that to you, or, you know, whatever it was. And so anyways, she had told me, Mandy, because I said, like, thank you so much for helping me, you know, in those younger years. And she's like, Mandy, when you can help someone, you do. You help when you can. And the way she had said it, she was this feisty, she's from Tijuana, and I just love her so much. There's no words. Anyways, I'm thinking about her now. And when she got to a point where she needed surgery, guess who was financially well off enough to help her with it? Freaking cool, man, right? Those are the moments. That's what makes it all worth it, is being able to help people because you can. Okay. Is there a payment plan possible to buy 5 books? That's a good question. I don't know. Well, let me think about how to make that happen if we can. Very good question, though. When will the audiobook be available? On the 22nd. So on launch day. I'm so excited. If you guys do get the book, even though you won't have obviously the physical copy on the 22nd, it would be so cool if you guys tagged me and you're like, well, you wouldn't hold it, but once you get it, also please tag me and hold it. And share with the world what you guys read and experience. A few folks are doing that already that haven't even finished the book in totality. But I would love to, for you to be like, oh my gosh, I got it. I'm so excited, whatever. It's worth asking, right? If you never ask, then the answer is always no. Okay, wait, what happened? Let me go back up. Okay, How do you know if your heart is open? I'm so excited about getting your book, getting one for my sister too. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so how do you know if your heart is open? This is a little different for everybody. So actually, if you guys want to post about this, this would be awesome. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I want to ask you guys, if it feels right, go live once we're done. Go live in this group and share your ahas, because sometimes what I have said can't reach someone in the group the way that it coming from your mouth can. So when you share your ahas in your vibration might be in more resonance with someone who joined this group as well. So, take my information and spread it, absolutely, because I'm not for everybody. So if you, for some reason, are holding the vibration someone else needs for this knowledge that's come through me, share it. So if it feels right, post or go live on all of your ahas and breakthroughs, random thoughts, I don't care. And I love watching it too, over the past 3 days. Okay, anyways, sorry, the question. So how do you know if your heart is open? The way that I have seen is it creates, a certain vibration, obviously. You feel intuitive. You feel all-knowing. Time doesn't feel like it exists, or you're not living in it, right? You're in the now. And when you do that scan that we did yesterday, you feel like it's open. It doesn't feel blocked. Y'all, your intuition is so on point already. You'd be so surprised. When you scan your body, because your body is such an incredible energetic feedback system, that when you listen to it, it will tell you everything you need to know, right? Like, this happens to my husband all the time. Whenever he's about to serve someone, he'll get like a body pain if they have one. And he's like, my left knee is killing me. And they're like, I got in a really bad car accident. My left knee blew out and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, well, of course, right? So then he knows that there's something that he can, work on or whatever. So your body's always giving you feedback. So when you're doing that scan, you stop at your heart, you're like, is it truly open? If not, let me clear it. What do I need to do to clear it? But it's a conversation that you get to have with your higher self, not your mind per se, but your higher self. So you just ask yourself, does it feel open? And honestly, you're always going to get an answer. It'll be a yes or a no, or maybe a little bit, right? And then you go from there. So trust, I think for some reason, although I could answer this many ways, for you and feeling your energy, just trust yourself. Trust that when you ask yourself if it's open or how to even get into it, you'll have the answers. And do what you did as a child. Sorry, that wanted to come out. Where are the links? Pinned to the top of this whole comment thread, which is going to be hard for you to scroll, I guess, right now. I don't know how. Oh, it's in the title of the post as well. Well, okay, so this question again, why do I fall asleep during group meditation? Can't seem to stay awake, or I need to take a nap very soon. I would say the biggest thing is if your subconscious needs to get out of the way. So many people will fall asleep when they meditate or when they're doing energy work. They're like, I don't know where I went. You may not actually be sleeping. You may have, your consciousness might have plopped somewhere else for a little bit so that further healing can occur. Or, people talk about astral traveling, which, by the way, astral traveling is an absolute science, and the government uses it. Story for another day, right? But all of those pieces of what's going on during the meditation, and I think meditations are naturally healing. Like, if you need to get into a really calm state and something is blocking it, then it's going to, assist in the healing process. And so sometimes your mind just needs to fully shut off, because sleep is so incredibly restorative. That's where you can receive, that's where you can process best. So you might just be putting yourself into a state to process a little bit faster. Nothing wrong with it. I cannot wait for my book to arrive. We'll buy 4 more for my young grandchildren to read when they're a bit older. That is so amazing. Thank you so much. I really think, I don't know, what are some timeless books that you guys have read? I feel like, and I really built the 8 Secrets in such a way that it will go far beyond me, so that it can forever be used. I want it to be timeless. Like the Napoleon Hill books, I'm like, I can read those and I still like it really resonates. So I don't know. I built that in such a way that it can hit, any age range, and regardless of where the world goes, it can still impact. That was important to me. How can I practically and effectively use and work with my energy to tackle on everyday life, working, relating, creating, and solving life's challenges? How can I practically, this is a lot of questions in one, or a lot of answers, I should say. How can I practically and effectively use and work with my energy to tackle on everyday life? The way I want to answer it in this moment is review the last 3 days, because and if you can invest in the book, just get one for yourself, or the audio or whatever. Literally everything is in there. It's just, are you ready to receive it? And of course, when the blocks come up to not receive it, then you work on that instead, right? But truly, the last 3 days has so much of really sparking that process. That's how I want to answer that. Do we still get the bonuses if we ordered yesterday without using the link that was posted today? Absolutely, my love. Just join the 8 Secrets to Powerful Manifesting Facebook group. So just search for it, and then you just need your order number, and just throw whatever order number you had, regardless of if you used the link or not, and then my team will let you in. Great question. Question. I have some people I worked with that I do not get a good vibe from. They want to meet with me and go for coffee, lunch, etc. I do not feel they are authentic, and they want to bring my vibration down. How do I politely decline? This is such a good question. So I was that way, although it was mainly because I was socially awkward, and my mom told me, you do not hang out with people that you work with. Don't drink with them, don't go out, whatever it was. And most of the time I adhered to that. But I remember one time my boss was like, you have to, he was a very aggressive person. He's like, you have to come out to the bar with everybody. We're going out as a team and all that stuff. And I was like, at the time I was like, I don't even drink. So I guess I'll just sit there awkwardly. And I don't want to, that's the last thing I want to do. I want to go to the gym or something. But and I did go, and I reminded myself of why I didn't want to be. But it was actually a deeper lesson than that, because I was realizing that the environment in totality was something that I just wasn't supposed to be a part of, right? But if you're like, what, I love my job, I don't want to do that. I urge you to be very courageous and super respectful, obviously, and just say, you know what, whether it's that, because you never want to lie. I'm all about, like, if I'm brutally honest, at least I'm going to, get to the root right away. And it's okay, if I do it with love, at least. And so for myself, if I was in that state and someone asked me to hang out, I didn't want to, I wouldn't avoid it and be like, I'm really busy, because eventually you're not always going to be busy, right? But usually I just, as far as work goes, I try to leave, work at home, and I'm just not feeling very social, or, whatever, like what your true feeling is. You don't have to say you guys suck and you have a low vibration per se, but also be honest in such a way that you sound centered when you say it, so that they're like, got it. Okay. It's just not her gig, right? So when people would ask me, especially after that day when I had to go to the bar, and got pressured into it from my boss, after that, when everyone's like, we're going out for happy hour, I was like, nope, sorry, not my gig. I'm hitting the gym. Just, not into it, or whatever. I wasn't a drinker, so that was my thing. I'm not a drinker. If they asked me for me to go for coffee or tea, which I drank those things, I'd probably be like, I just don't really want to hang out with people that I work with too much. And I know that sounds really harsh, y'all, but there is an authentic and kind way to say that, believe it or not. So I would just play around with what feels authentic to you, and how can you speak your truth, so you're not just honoring yourself, but that you're also being super respectful to, the individuals. Probably a terrible answer, I'm sure, but that would be my answer. All right. No worries, guys. You didn't order from the wrong link. You ordered the way you ordered, and you'll get everything. It's still, all of those bonuses are in the Facebook group. But if you want to buy more books now, then click on this new link, and then you can get all those other technically bonuses, I suppose you could call them. But you can get all of those other classes also. Okay. Why do I feel like it's easier to recognize someone else's triggers? I'm sitting here trying to see some of my triggers, but can only call to mind a few. But I'm sure I would have more, I would feel lighter and higher vibrationally more often. So if you're like, I don't know how to understand my triggers unless they're happening in real time, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't worry. Instead, you just go, okay, then for the next 48 hours or the next week, I'm going to do my energetic check-ins like we talked about on day 1 and day 2 a little bit. I'll do my energetic check-ins and I will pay attention to what triggers me. And I guarantee that by 7 days, if not even 24 hours for some of us, you'll see that there are some reoccurring triggers. Because what do you do after you know you're triggered? Well, what am I telling myself? The trigger might be a different thing, but the root of what you're telling yourself might be pretty consistent. You'll be like, dang, I got a lot of triggers for this one, unmet need. Like I'm feeling unheard, but it shows up in work, it shows up at home. Ooh, wow, okay. Then I've got, that's a big trigger, and there's a lot of ways that trigger shows up. But I would say start with the check-ins, and then you'll start getting that feedback in real time. Muchas gracias. Um, da, 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 da. How to control people dragging you into their drama? This is a good question. I'll just tell you guys what I do, which, you know, no one brings me drama anymore. I'm just not a very fun person to talk to when it's drama. But when it first started, because I created connection with a lot of people through just talking, badly about myself or whatever. I learned that from, unfortunately, from the female side of my family. It was like, oh, you're really struggling. Oh, I'm struggling too. And then we would like, woe is us, together. And it was really dysfunctional. But if someone's like, hear all of my drama, I just pay attention to my energy. So I'm aware of what's me. And then I am not emotionless, but I don't have a lot of reaction. And I'm always offering, which pisses people off who just want to vent. And I'm like, hey, like there are certain people who would love to just be an ear. I am wired to provide a solution. So it's what I'm going to do. So I actually pre-warn people. My husband and I do this as well when people come to our house, like our family or someone who's never really been to our home, like a distant relative or something like that. We actually tell them, and it's a beautiful way that we say it. We're like, our house is a space of growth and love. Anything that you don't want to grow through, you can absolutely leave it at the door with your shoes, because no shoes in the house. Then you can leave it at the door. If there's something that you want to grow through, we're happy to serve. Just please ask us, so that we're in our home space, and we set these parameters. And eventually you start attracting only people who are like, I know that if I talk to Mandy about my problems, she's either going to solve them, or I'm not going to talk about them if I don't want to solve them. But in that in between phase, if you will, then I would say if someone's, my hair is in my eyelash. Then I would say if someone's throwing you some drama, as we call it, right, or gossip or something like that, it is a lack of response, or in those moments of pause when they're like, yeah, and then he or she did this and oh, whatever it is, then I'd be like, okay, so what are you going to do to change this? How do you want to shift this? What would the best outcome look like for you? And I'm saying it much more authentically, and I'm really in the conversation. I'm not like, so what would you authentically like to do? And they're like, well, now I feel like you're talking down to me, right? It's not like that at all when I'm actually in those spaces. And I would suggest, that you really come with love and being like, I want to actually help you. Like, this sounds like this is bringing you a lot of pain. Do you want me to help, or do you want me to listen? Because it's too hard for me to listen. I want you to know my personal boundary. I see that you're in pain. I love you. I want to help you get out of it. So I don't want to just like listen to something that's obviously lowering your vibration, because it'll probably lower mine too. But if you want to work through it, like I'll roll up my sleeves and I'll try to serve you the best that I can. Boundaries, everyone. Such a wonderful idea to buy multiples and donate to our local women's shelters. A beautiful win-win. Y'all, I'm telling you, like the women, and there's actually, a lot of, clients as well, that have unfortunately gone through horribly abusive relationships, childhoods, you name it, and then they change their life, and they're like, okay, how do I get, and they'll like buy my programs for others. It's just the coolest thing. But I like, as much as we can, donating to the local shelters. We've got veterans, especially in this county, just all kinds of souls that need it, and they just wouldn't go out and look for it. But if it was in their, if it was on their lap, they would. My stomach's growling. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And it would rock their world. So why wouldn't we, right? Like, what an easy way to change someone's life. Okay. How do I stay in a high vibration if you're forced to interact and at times live with a toxic person due to kids? I would break some rules around that. And I'm sure that there's plenty of logical reasons. Well, we're doing it for the kids, or I can't afford to live on my own, and all that stuff. You're about to grow like crazy. I would suggest that you look at the rules you have around it, the beliefs that you have around why you can't leave, or why it has to be toxic, or what this toxic person really needs. And it could be an infinite number of answers. By all means, your intuition will guide you. But sometimes it's this person needs to receive. I'm seeing books. Thank you, everybody. You guys are amazing. I would see, okay, this person, they are toxic, but they're wounded. Is it for me to solve? I remember seeing, my mom and my stepdad, and my mom trying to save him over and over again, and her just feeling like she had to stay in this really toxic environment for him because he was going to kill himself. And she also did it for us, thinking, well, at least, these kids have a father. And I was sitting there my whole life like, you guys don't even love each other. This is horrible. This is teaching me everything I don't want to know, right? But it was done, with love. So I'm sure that your intentions are so beautiful. But maybe there's some beautiful rules to break. Maybe there's new boundaries to have. Maybe you're not the one to serve this toxic person anymore. And what lessons can you learn from it? And what can you teach these kids in a beautiful way as well?
If they buy for their friends get the bonuses as well.
Oh my gosh, guys, I didn't know that. If you buy for your friends get the one book bonuses as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess all right. So then have them put the order number in the Facebook group too, so that they can join. Oh, I mean, obviously that makes sense.
They get the group and the 2-day event.
Oh, and they get the two. Oh yeah, two.
Not 2-day event,
the 1 day, and they get the 1 day event. It's like not the Price is Right, but what is it? Wheel of Fortune. You get this. You get this. Feeling like Oprah over here. Okay. Dun, da, da, da. Oh, you don't do the time change. I know. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, I should post about the time change for those that don't, like I don't think Arizona does it either. But I forgot. I'm sorry. Okay, you guys are all joining the book group. Amazing. Yes, you can view this later. Don't worry. All of these are saved for at least a few weeks. How do you select your daily journal prompts? Mine are pretty set. No, they're not set in stone, but the way it always, I actually have my journal here. I'm going to read one of my journal things to you guys, right? Let's do it. I feel like we're going to be on for a while, but I am really hungry, so. Thank goodness we have Chef Nikki cooking us delicious vegan lunches today at the Heartland, so I don't even have to cook. No dishes all weekend. Thank you. Thank you very much. As if I do dishes consistently anyways. Okay. So it changes all the time. Let's see if I can try to get like a gamut here. Okay, so we'll go yesterday and today. I might leave a couple pieces out because I don't remember what I wrote in case it's like a little too personal or something. So yesterday, 3/12/22. First, I just start with random thoughts in my head. I just get the juices flowing. So I was like, I slept in until like 7:15. Sun is shining bright, and it is a beautiful day. I'm not going to say that part. I'm so much enjoying the zest of life and what it has to offer. So much abundance coming. So much abundance here for the world. Today I feel, and then that's one of the biggest prompts, is I always talk about everything I feel. Good, bad, or indifferent. And then if I feel like I want to dive in deeper, then I'll ask myself, why? So I wrote, this was a really good day. Obviously, I'm in high vibration when I'm doing challenges. Excited, healthy, in shape, capable. Capable has been coming up a lot. Sexy, I felt sexy. Grateful and connected to God. Did I write grateful twice? No, I didn't. But that was what I was feeling yesterday. Then, I had this really cool dream, which I'm not going to share with you guys yet because I just want to see if it's going to manifest itself. But we'll stamp it in. It's interesting. So then this morning, I wrote, all of my emotions again, what I was feeling. And then this one was a little bit longer. So I just kind of basically, it's really not necessary to read it to, I guess. But what I'm doing is I'm checking in with all of my emotions. What am I feeling? What's in my mind? Did I have any dreams that I want to remember? Is there any feedback or, messages in my sleep? And then I'm just making sure that I'm clear. And then sometimes I write out, what am I going to do that day? It's just like this, almost like a conversation with myself. But I always want to check in with myself. I'm doing my first energetic check-in of the day. How do I truly feel? And if it's not good, why? And what am I going to do about it? So again, I am being proactive about my clearing. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. What happened? Live chat? Oh, there we go. So grateful. I will get your Audible. Tag you where? On your page or whatever. Like if you guys are on Instagram, feel free to tag me. I am at Manifest with Mandy. or on TikTok. I'm also Manifest with Mandy, right? Yeah, I'm also at Manifest with Mandy. I'll totally, duet you guys as much as I can. I'm learning how to duet on TikTok. I'm feeling pretty cool. I'm with the times, even though I don't know what I'm doing. And then Facebook, tag my page. I'll be checking it. And if you're okay with me sharing it, then make sure you make it public as well. Yep, book will be on Audible. Um, oh wait, I just realized I need to order the audiobook too. I did record the audiobook, y'all, so you will hear whether you're sick of my voice at this point or not. There is a whole lot of energy. That was why I wanted to read the book myself instead of pay someone else to do it. I was like, it's got to be my voice. These are my words. I know the energetic stamp that needs to be on these words. So I did that. Can you guys hear my stomach? It's growling so loud. Okay. Inspirational. Thanks, Mandy, for leading the way. You and Oliver are so authentic. Love you both. Thank you. Love you too. How to be a manifestation coach? That's a good question because I don't teach people how to be a manifestation coach. I teach them how to do like practitioner stuff. So like we do trauma work. I mean, here's the thing. This is my philosophy at least. When you sort through the subconscious, the mind stuff, you get your energy straight, all the things we really talked about, and the things that I do teach in the practitioner piece, manifestations just are conscious. We're always manifesting. Intentional manifestation is just a natural byproduct. Life just gets better. But I don't have a course on that per se. I've helped people mostly all my life and didn't want a thank you. I just wanted them to help another when they were able to and not ask them for anything back, but continue the cycle. This is my best. Thank you. I got notice that mine will be delivered on release day. Oh, lucky. Yeah, you guys got to get your orders in soon. I also would like to know about a payment plan. Okay, cool. Would like to buy this for my son's entire graduating class. Ah, that's so cool. Okay, we'll see if we can figure out. I don't know how to make that happen because like we have to pay for the book. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just cover the cost. So I wonder how to make that happen. I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way, but my team will see if we can make something happen. What other classes do you have that involve energy? I would totally throw my husband in here. I don't do as much energy classes, although I'm super woo-woo, y'all. Let me tell you. But my husband, if you haven't heard of him, research the spiritual activator, Oliver Nino. And he is an energy healer. He channeled his healing modality, and he has thousands all around the world, practitioners or healers as well that are doing this very unique form of healing. I feel like his healing works going to be kind of like the next Reiki, but it's not Reiki at all. It's a completely different methodology and modality. But you know how well Reiki's known. It's amazing, and he's writing a book too. How can you raise your vibration if you're living with toxic people? This is such a tough one because the answer's different sometimes. Like for some, it's get out of the toxic environment. It's not a lesson for you to learn. Others, it is what lessons do you need to learn, right? And normally it's nothing to do with the toxic person, but everything to do with ourselves. Like, do we, for myself, it was, I didn't honor myself enough. I thought that toxicity was normal. I was attracted to toxicity. I was willing to be around people who were hurtful. And so all of my lessons were technically revolving around self-love of some sort, boundaries, all that jazz. So if you take a few steps back and say like, why are toxic people even in my world? What am I doing to resonate with them? How do I change that? Like truly at a core, not just get away from them. That sometimes, again, sometimes that's the lesson. But if there is a true lesson, then more toxic people will probably just come, right? So what is the true lesson? What am I supposed to embrace here? And then that becomes your work. I so love to astral travel. Dun, dun, dun. Where do we get your meditation? So we're going to do the meditation next after these questions. So if you guys can, hang tight. I'm going to do a little meditation to raise our vibrations, send you on your merry and beautiful ways until we meet again, hopefully in the book club group. Oh my gosh, the stomach is crazy. If someone wants to interview you live, where would they reach out to? Email or PM? I'm so sorry. I am terrible with my private messages on my business page, fan page, whatever they call it nowadays. There's just so many messages. So it's a little bit hard for me personally, but I have a public relations group. I can, babe, will you post Alina's email
Oh,
in the thread there? Or I'm trying to think of the easiest way.
probably email support right to the board.
Or yeah, just email support at manifestwithmandy.com and they'll get you in touch with PR. And then my PR handles everything
Subject
from there.
line book interview.
Do it?
Subject line
Oh yeah,
interview.
with subject line book interview if that's what you going for. Um, is your audio going to be on Hay House? Yes, I've actually been doing a couple of their summits as well. I just spoke at their Embracing Your Feminine Power Summit. I did one in January as well, starting the new year off right. Um, yeah, Hay House is amazing. So I plan on working with them for quite a while in the future as well because they're so much fun. Okay, more questions on interviewing. So yeah, support at manifestwithmandy.com. My team will get you guys the PR email. Okay, I'm just searching through, looking for the questions. Is the audio also available in the same website, Loveliness? Oh, that's a good question. We don't have the audio.
I don't know because when they're releasing, I know they're releasing it, but I don't know where they're gonna have it. Maybe Audible. I'm not sure. It's Audible or
But
not.
I mean, you're talking about like if you were to go on the group, right? Is the audio also available on the same website? So that's a no. They mean like, will they get the bonuses if they buy the audio?
No, asking about your audiobook.
Right.
Your audiobook.
Yeah, but is it available on the same website? And it's not on this.
Because it's not live yet.
Oh, because it's not live yet.
You don't have it
But you can still buy the audio right now, or no?
yet. No.
Oh, you have to wait until the 22nd to buy the audio, I guess. Guys, I don't even know these things. I'm so sorry. I'm not very helpful here. Um, yeah, so I guess you got to wait on the audio until the 22nd. I thought you could pre-order an audio, but I guess maybe not. So 22nd. 22nd. There'll probably be a million different links to purchase from. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to scroll on through, looking for question marks. Lots of ahas. Birds of a feather flock together. Sorry, I'm just reading all your guys' comments. People really listen to your parameters? Question mark, exclamation. Over time, right? And I mean, if someone isn't willing to honor your boundaries, gosh, it sure tells a lot about them and where they should be placed in your reality, right? I hope you guys can hear. It sounds like my stomach is a thunderstorm. Okay, let's do two more questions. We'll do the meditation. Cool? Um, when you say include for the highest good of all, I do that and have an honest intent for the change and need to benefit the people in my life, for example. But there are times that I feel like I am doing it from a place of unworthiness. Like I really don't deserve it, but everyone around me does, so it makes it more attainable. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Any thoughts on this? I've never even thought of it like that. The first thing that's coming up for me is okay, how do we shift the intentional energy, right? Because the action doesn't have to change. I would say the highest good of all should feel light, right? But if your lesson is I need to focus on me and take for me, then maybe you change that a little bit. If you've been saying like everyone around me, have but not me, take from my plate versus we all have a plate, then that's a completely different intentional energy. So I would say, okay, what verbiage makes it feel like your intentional energy is, yo también, me too, right? I want to feel that same abundance that I wish for others. Like bless that which you want, but also, don't take away from yourself that martyrism, right? Of, well, if I sacrifice, then there'll be enough. There's a limitless amount of abundance in the world, in existence, right? So I would say just play around with verbiage that feels right to you until the highest good of all, if the highest good of all ever resonates fully for you. I did that. Like I'm the person where every birthday when I blow out my candle, my wish is I hope that everyone else's wishes come true. But I do that because I'm like I can make my wishes come true and all feels so good. But if I was like, take my wish, you can have it. There's only one, then that wouldn't feel good. So play with your intentional energy a little bit, and it's okay to honor yourself and be like, I need this for me right now. So It's not in the highest good of all for everybody. It's in the highest good of me for this moment. And then play with that. And then eventually you'll probably be like, that doesn't actually feel good anymore. But now I know how it feels to fill up my cup. And now I'm ready to incorporate everything. No judgment. Do you ever have a time when you get angry and just need to vent about the situation so it doesn't affect you in other ways? I can tell you honestly at this point in my reality, absolutely I get angry, but I always do something about it because I do not like the vibration of anger. I don't want to feel that way, and I know that it's showing up for a reason to serve me. I want to get back into a higher vibration. So, um, venting. Do I vent, babe? I always come to you and ask for help, right?
Journal.
Yeah, I journal, and that's how I like
Just
release.
brainstorm.
Yeah, I release everything, but then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with this? So there's always an action step, or if I'm bringing it to someone, I'm like, can you help me with it? Do you have any feedback for me? Listen to me talk and see where I'm victimizing myself or where I'm incorrect. So then I'm speaking how I'm currently feeling, but I'm looking for the personas and the pieces that I can't see. If you buy five, can the people you give books to also join Facebook group? Absolutely. Just share with them the order number or whatever.
And the 1 day event too.
Yeah, and they also get the 1 day event, which we will do in that group. So you guys don't need to worry about trying to find that somewhere. Do you need to know what started a trigger in order to know what belief we are living out today? So trauma and triggers might be a little bit different, right? So you might be like, I'm triggered. What am I telling myself? That's what you're going to work on. So the what are you telling yourself piece is really the more important part. Let's go deeper into this question. For example, I block off around intimacy and I feel like it is a fear of abandonment from when my father died when I was 18. What if I am wrong and that is not the cause of this blocking off? Am I working on the wrong fear, or is it sufficient to know there is a trigger, be curious about it, and move on? What other work is there to be done in order to remove the block? Just work on the belief. So if you're like, I, if you're not like, sure, that's it, right? But if you're like, I am lacking intimacy, here are all of when intimacy shows up, here's what I start telling myself when I'm triggered, right? Here's the feeling. Oh, see, look, Audible.
Is it?
Oh, wait, no, they're just giving the link to the UK one. I don't think that's actual book yet. I got excited. Um, but
Audible if they can't find it.
yeah, I think it's not yet. So then you'll say, okay, in those moments of trigger, when the intimacy presents itself, here's what I'm telling myself. Then what would that belief be? So regardless again of the trauma, then we're not focusing on that. We're not focusing on I'm so sorry, by the way, that you lost your father. I lost mine 2 years ago. But we're not focusing on that piece. It's just what is the belief that we carried out and that we're living out today. What are we telling ourselves in the now about intimacy? I will be abandoned, or it's unsafe, or whatever it is. And again, we're just focused on that belief. Is it true? Does it have to be true moving forward? What can the new truth be? How is this not leading me to what I want by acting this out? We want the brain to be very much understanding that this is not the behavior that we want, or the choice or the belief that we want. Visually impaired, do we have audio? Absolutely. Why do we lower our vibes to help others? We sometimes think that we need to lower our vibration to meet them where they're at. No, you stay here and you invite them to where you are. But it's a part of relatability, when you're trying to serve someone, or you just maybe you have conflict avoidance, or you're a people pleaser, then you're like, well, in order to not avoid conflict or awkwardness, because I can tell how vibrationally different we are, then I'm just going to, and I found myself doing that all the time. I used to just, completely turn into a different person. Sometimes not even a lower vibration, but just different, because I wanted relatability, because conflict was so scary for me. And now I can sit there awkwardly with anyone. I'm like, if I don't resonate with them, then we'll just sit next to each other and be weird. Like, I don't care. It's all good, right? I'll vibrate love, and they'll feel it anyways, and it's all divine. But I think the biggest piece is probably to look at, am I doing conflict avoidance, or am I a people pleaser? Because that's normally why we're willing to lower our vibration to meet people where they're at. Even if it's with pure intention to raise them up, it ain't gonna happen. They know that vibration well. It's like a video game. They've mastered that video game. They built the video game. If your video game is over here, then you need to invite them to that, because you're always going to lose if you jump into someone else's reality, right? If it's not one that you want, I should say. All right, let's see. Just pre-ordered. Would like to manifest joy for myself and others. Okay, let's just do one more question, then we're going to jump into that meditation because I keep forgetting we're supposed to. Meditation. I don't see any more questions. Do you do your journaling first thing in the morning before doing other things for the day? I do. My lack of a morning routine is before my feet hit the floor, I say thank you 3 times and I mean it. And it feels so good. And it's just, that nice boost of gratitude, even if, I had a weird night of sleep, or for myself, I tend to absorb a lot when I sleep. So I don't really wake up like, so refreshed. Let's go on with the day. I'm waking up like, there's a loop in my head. What do I do with it? So I like to clear, first thing in the morning. So I start with my thank yous. And then if I can, I will literally roll over and start journaling. Otherwise, I'll come downstairs, I'll grab, my celery juice or my tea or, whatever the beverage of choice is for the morning. If I need to get the kids' breakfast going first, I'll do that as fast as I can. And then I'm on the couch and I'm journaling, which is why my journal's downstairs today, was because I watched the sunrise and I journaled. Okay, are you guys ready to jump into the meditation? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get myself into an even higher state and take 3 deep breaths again. Feel free to close your guys' eyes, get somewhere comfy. I think what we're going to do, let me see how this is gonna go. Let me get into state first, then I'll talk. Okay, we're just gonna get rolling. You don't get to know. Close your eyes. And take a couple deep breaths. No rules around how long they need to be, how deep they need to be. Just let your chest, your stomach, your rib cage expand and collapse perfectly, divinely, beautifully. Now the intention, since we're going with vibration today, for this particular meditation is to experience more and more of your authentic self. We're going to lock in the most authentic vibration we can today. Now, something you may not know about a pyramid, and the shape of a pyramid, the science behind pyramids, and the energy that they produce, is they allow for you to vibrate in a state of homeostasis, what I call your authentic self. Energy that is not needed, that is disharmonious, can pass through you in a harmonious way, in an authentic way, when you experience or are underneath or are housing the frequency of a pyramid. In our blood, the hemoglobin in our blood is actually 2 octahedrons, 2 pyramids, back to back. So down to a very physical level as well, we resonate deeply with the shape of a pyramid. So right now in your meditation, hopefully with your eyes closed, go ahead and put yourself in a white room. This white room is representing just pure possibility. No time, no rules, just this white room. Maybe there's no gravity in it. It can be big or small, whatever feels right, but you're in a white room. And now a pyramid is going to be placed over you. You are sitting inside of it. Perhaps it has walls or it doesn't. Each point instead representing, connecting, and creating the vibration of authenticity. Now as you bask underneath this pyramid begins to spin. And each point of the pyramid carries a color, almost like it's emitting a gas or it has a ribbon tied to it. But it leaves a trace as it spins. Choose any color that feels right to you, perhaps multiple colors. But allow for this pyramid to spin around you in all directions, slowly, rapidly. And as this color or these colors get left behind, it creates an incredible sphere around you. Now ask yourself why you chose that color. Was it to calm you, to open your heart, to connect to the divine, to bring in more happiness, protection, motivate you, heal? And just think for a moment that because you chose a color, your intuition was already speaking to you, telling you exactly what you need. And allow for that communication system with your intuition to open even further. Asking that today, your intuition guides you all day long in the small and simple things and in the bigger things. Anything you ask yourself today, trust that your intuition is answering. The first answer is the right one. Knowing that you can ask and act upon what your intuition says today. Take a deep breath and breathe that in. Last piece. The top of your head, it's also known as your crown, or your crown chakra, if you will. This is your connection to the divine. This is your connection to collective consciousness, to the collective mind. I want you to think of a question that you've had for some time, or one that pops up right now. Now, at the top of your head, that crown, almost like a tube, you're going to shoot it up with golden light all the way to the farthest reaches of existence, if you will, to the heavens, as I call it, creating a connection to the divine. Now ask yourself that question. And you may receive an answer, an energy, a word, a color, whatever it may be. Don't judge it, but absorb it fully. Now that pyramid, we're going to pull it off of ourselves. That homeostasis, that authentic vibration stays with us. We know it now. Our dominant frequency for the entire day will be incredibly high. And after this meditation, you will set an intention, a very high intention, because you are in a very high state. Only write it down or say it or record it on your phone in the ways that continue to make it feel high vibration. So if you don't need to put a time to it, don't put a timeline to it. If it needs more or less details, just honor what feels light and right. You may also set your intentions right now, but you do need to record them after the meditation. You may stay in this space as long as you would like, enjoying the white room, enjoying the frequency of pure possibility, and the highest good of all. Thank you all for joining me on this journey for the last 3 days. I'm so happy that you're on this thread of reality with me. And in case no one has told you today, I love you.